This is Fresh Air. I'm Barbara Bogave in for Terry Gross. Of all the facial features, the nose is perhaps the most maligned. It's the most popular choice for plastic surgery and for jokes. Is that a nose or did a bus park on your face? And then there's the plumbing angle. The physiology of the nose and the sinus passages is a subject most people would avoid in polite company. But not today. Throughout her life, journalist Gabrielle Glaser has had a troubled relationship with her own nose. Now she's written a book about the history, the culture, and the biology of the olfactory organ. It's called The Nose, A Profile of Sex, Beauty, and Survival. Scientists are developing new theories about what causes sinus problems. When Terry spoke with Gabrielle Glaser, she asked her to describe what the sinuses are.
Sinuses are little cavities that we have behind our noses and lining, actually, the back of our noses that are really very similar to a cluster of grapes. And nobody's really sure why we have them. Some people theorize that they developed when we began walking upright, and it allowed us to hold our heads up more easily with just the brain taking up all that weight and space.
So we don't really know what the heck they're supposed to be doing?
No, well, they equalize barometric pressure. They act as resonance for the voice. They humidify air that's going into the lungs. If we're in a hot place, they cool it down, and if we're in a cold place, they keep it. They warm it up. But that's what they do today. Nobody's really sure how it all started.
Unfortunately, sinuses dysfunction a lot of the time. What happens when sinuses go wrong?
Oh, so much happens. You have, inside your sinuses, you have hundreds and hundreds of little cilia, tiny little hair-like filaments that move mucus to the back of your throat and down to your stomach, where pollen and bacteria and viruses generally are swallowed without any notice. People who have healthy sinuses don't even notice these functions. And actually, they produce, if you can believe this, a pint to a quart of mucus a day. But when sinuses dysfunction, and anybody who has a cold, who has had a cold knows this, your nose gets runny, your sinuses fill up, and the cilia become totally overwhelmed, and they can't function anymore, and you get sick. And in the case of 37 million people who have a disease called chronic sinusitis, this is a daily it's just how they live their daily lives.
So when sinuses are malfunctioning, do the sinuses and does that whole nasal area become the breeding ground for infection?
Yes, the cilia become overwhelmed. You get sinuses that are pocked with inflammation, and little parts of